Hey guys, it's Susan again, and today we're going to make a flat wire beaded bangle. So today we're going to be making this flat wire beaded bangle. They're really cool, fun to stack together. What you're seeing on the outside are just these beautiful beads, but on the inside there's a base of this flat wire, which is what makes it so sturdy. And so I'm going to teach you how to work with the flat wire and then add those beads. It's a lot of fun, really cute, super easy. Don't forget, if you're loving these videos, to like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you can check out all of our future videos. All right, so in order to make these bangles, you're gonna need some supplies and some tools. I love this color combination of beads, and I like to stack these in threes, but you can make them just individually. And so I'm gonna make one with a turquoise color, and later on, I'll probably add the other two just for fun, but you can do any color of 6mm beads you want. This is a red jasper that you could use. This is like a picture jasper that you could use. And this is a turquoise color bead. It's called magnesite, and I love to use these. Everybody always likes turquoise color, but it's 6mm, it's round, and that's what you're gonna need to make your bangles. And what you're seeing are those beads, so that's the most important supply. Then you're gonna need this 5mm wide flat wire, and you're actually gonna cut it about 8 1/4 inches, which is gonna make a standard size 8-inch bangle. And if you wanna make a medium size, then you're gonna go 8 1/2 to make an 8 1/4 bangle. And if you wanna go larger, you're gonna go 8 3/4 to make an 8 1/2 inch bangle. And you just kind of go up or down by 1/4 inches to increase or lower the size. I actually make bangles from double extra small all the way up to double extra large just by increasing by that 1/4 inch. So that's just a little information on sizing for you guys. And then you're also gonna need some 24 gauge wire. That's what you're gonna use to wrap the beads onto those bangles. And as far as tools are concerned, let me get this organized here. You're going to need a hole punch. I'm using a 1.25. You're going to need a flat nose plier, and you're going to need a flush cutter. And then to shape your bangle, I'm going to be using a bracelet mandrel, and this is a round steel bracelet mandrel. And you can see I've used this one a little bit because there's some hammer marks on it, but it's nice because it actually goes from small to large, so you can make any size bangle you want to. All right, to get started, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my flat wire. Now I've already cut this piece, but I'm gonna go ahead and measure and cut another piece for you. What you wanna do is just pull it off that spool, straighten it out, and I have a measuring tape up here that I'm gonna pull down into the frame right there. And you can see I'm just measuring at 8 1/4 inches. Now that 1/4 inch is gonna be taken up by my 2 holes and overlapped. So you're actually gonna end up with an 8-inch bangle if you cut 8 1/4 inches. So just remember that sizing information that I gave you to start with. So I'm just gonna take my flush cutter. Now this flat wire is not gonna cut all the way through with most flush cutters. So what you wanna do is score it and then bend it, and you get a nice flat flush cut. Everybody always gets confused with that. So just remember, score it, bend it, and it will cut and give you a nice flat flush cut. All right, now what I'm doing is I'm just checking my ends, and I see that I'm just a little bit not quite straight on this end. So I'm gonna actually trim this guy a little bit. Once again, see I'm scoring, and I'm actually bending with my my tool. And one thing I forgot to tell you is I don't like sharp edges, and I don't think anybody else does either. So I'm gonna reach back on my bench and grab a file and file off those ends. So this is a flat file. And what I'm gonna do is right on the edge here where that is kind of sharp, I'm just gonna take that flat file and I'm gonna knock off the edge. And you can see I'm just pushing forward with the file on all the edges. And the reason I'm pushing forward is because that is the way that the file cuts. You can go backwards if you want to, but you're not doing anything. So that's why I'm pushing forward with the file. All right, and I'm just gonna grab all 4 corners, just like so. Just so that, one of the things that's really, really important about making jewelry is that it's comfortable to wear. And if it's not comfortable to wear, no one will wear it. And you might sell one bangle, but you'll never sell another one. So make sure that you make it comfortable to wear. So do that every time, and I'll do this one later. Now I'm gonna punch some holes, and I always punch 2 and 2 because it makes this more sturdy. If I didn't punch 2, then you would get like almost like a wiggle at your join. So I'm going to take my punch and I'm going to cut 1 and then do another one just about not very far, just like about 1/8 of an inch away. So let me go ahead and get that, like so. And you see I'm having to wiggle just a little bit to get that out there, but that's what you wanna do. Now, before I cut the other holes, very important, we're going to actually bend our bracelet. So you wanna start at the smaller part of your mandrel, because this wire is actually gonna spring back on you. And if you don't start small, you will end up with a bangle that doesn't meet at the edge. And so see, I did perfect, just like so. All right, and so then I'm just gonna use my flat nose plier here to kind of bring that down just a little bit into the circle curve, and do the same thing on the other side. Just kind of get that into the circle, like that. So see how that overlaps? Now, for the next 2 holes, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to use the 2 holes that I started with as a guide. So you're going to overlap the wire and put the hole punch into the last hole you cut, like so. Can you guys see that? Perfect. And then I'm gonna punch right there, and undo that. Make sure you get that first hole right in this right spot, and then go into the second hole. And well, let me make sure I get that exactly straight. Where is it? There it is. So you want to be able to see through the first one and then punch the second one. So they're in the exact same place. It's the only way to do it, is to use that as your guide. Boom. Ta-da! All right, so now those guys are going to be perfectly lined up and hold your bangle together. So now you're gonna get that 24 gauge wire. And I'm gonna pull about 3 feet of 24 gauge wire, which at the beginning seems a little bit obnoxious, but as you go, you realize you need every single inch of it, because you've got to wrap about 30 beads onto this bracelet. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go down through the first holes, and I'm gonna take this little bit of wire and I'm gonna secure this on one side. And you wanna secure it right next to the inside cut here, because that's gonna hide the end. So I'm gonna do a couple wraps, and I'm gonna trim it off inside, like so, and then take my flat nose plier and press it down and up against that so that we don't feel it again. And you're also gonna go over that again later with the wire when you end it, but you wanna just make sure you do that. And then I'm gonna take the same wire and I'm gonna go down, and this is a little more complicated because I got all this wire, and I probably could have done it with the short end, but now since I haven't, we're just gonna do it with the long end. This is something you have to learn anyway. Sometimes you forget. So we're gonna go through that long end now. And of course, there we go. Ah, look at that pop through. Okay, so pull. Now, when you do something like this, so I've forgotten to use my short end. I didn't go through with my short ends. That's okay. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to actually use my hand to keep that wire from kinking. So I've actually got my hand inside the loop as it comes around, and see how that's kind of keeping it in that round loop. And now I'm keeping my thumb in there. That's also kind of keeping it from doing anything crazy. And so I'm just gonna go all the way down and through. And then here when I get to the end, I'm just gonna pop it down, boom, just like so. So now I've secured everything. So I'm gonna come up and over and around right there. And now I'm ready to start with my first bead. My last bead's gonna go right there on top of that little spot. So let me just put this down for a second, and I'm gonna choose to use my magnesite beads because it's my favorite. You know what's also fun with this is you can actually use multicolors too, and it looks really, really good. So I could use like 3 turquoise, then 3 of the red jasper, and then 3 of the picture jasper, and it would look really pretty as well. But we're gonna go with turquoise color today. So you're just gonna take a bead, pop it on the end, and I always kind of give it a little home. So I just push up a little bit of wire right there so it sits right up on the wire, and then you're going to take the other side and you're going to wrap this around. So I'm pulling through and then wrapping over, and then I'm going to do the same thing again. Pull through, and now I'm ready to add my next bead. So on the inside, you're going to see 2 wraps. On the outside, you'll see 1, but you're going to push those beads really close together so you really almost don't see it. So next bead, pop it on. And so once again, let me show you how to create that little home for the bead. You're going to actually make a little bit of a bend in the wire so it sits right on top of it, and then pull down on the other side. So see how you almost have the same amount of wire on each side of the bead? And then you're going to wrap over. And one thing you probably didn't see me do is I also pull all the way down the length of the wire, and that keeps it from kinking, especially when you have a lot of wire. And then wrap it around. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to pull. And I ran my fingers all the way down that wire and then come up, and I'm ready to add my next bead. So now we're going to do speed round, and I'm going to keep going all the way around this bracelet. Let me do one more for you just so you really get the idea. Bead goes on, and then I'll do one at the end again really slow so you can see when I don't have so much wire. All right, so bead goes on, make a little home for your bead, pop them in place, wrap around the other side, pull, wrap over, and pull. Boom. All right, so now I'm just gonna go. All right, so I'm about to add the last 2 beads on here. So let me just show you one more time about making that little home or that seat for the bead. You're gonna pull it up just about 1/4 inch right there and actually bend the wire in. So see how I made like a little seat almost for the wire so that when I pull it down on the other side, it's about the same amount of wire on each side. And so it sits up on your form instead of kind of being a little bit crooked. It's a great way to make it straight. So there's that one. And then my very last one's gonna go right up here on where I made that connection to hide the uglies. And so just do that. Make your little home, bring it around. And then right there between that little spot that you finished, you're just going to wrap, 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 like that. And just press that guy down and trim it out. Right up here on that side, because I'm gonna tuck it under that bead right there. I love to hide the ends. I love it so that you can't find my ending, because that is just the best way to do it. So I'm gonna tuck it right up under that last bead there, and voila, cute. So there we go. That's how you make a flat wire beaded bangle. You can make 2 or 3, put them together, and they look super cute. Now, don't forget, we do need some tools and supplies to make this happen. You are going to need some 6mm round beads, gemstones in whatever color that you want. You will need some flat wire. This is a 5mm flat wire. You are also going to need some 24 gauge wire round to wrap those beads on there. And then as far as tools and supplies are concerned, you will need a hole punch. I used a 1.25mm hole punch. You can use a 1.5 or a 1.82, and a flush cutter and a flat nose plier. And then you're also going to need that heavy duty bracelet mandrel right there. You don't have to have a steel one. I love a steel bracelet mandrel. You can use a wooden one or a different type of mandrel as well. And then don't forget your flat file, because I almost forgot mine. Thanks so much for watching. If you guys would like to pick up some supplies like the ones we work with today, check out the links down below. What color combination would you use in your beaded bangle? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe and ring that bell, and I'll see you again next time.